Welcome to the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. ESPN presents Mountain West Basketball, the New Mexico Lobos, and the Fresno State Bulldogs. Good afternoon, everyone. Roy Wolf alongside Bill Horrenda. So glad you're joining us on this Saturday afternoon. Now, we've seen enough of these two teams to have a sense of where they are in the Mountain West. New Mexico is hot. They've won 2 straight. They're 3-2 in conference play. Fresno State, on the other hand, picked 4th in the conference, Bill. They're at just 2-3, which makes this feel like a must-win home game for the Bulldogs.
It really is a get-right game for Fresno State. Can they play well for 40 minutes and protect their home floor? For New Mexico, it's kind of simple. Is the emotion and the execution portable? They've yet to win a Mountain West road game.
New Mexico will lean on Anthony Jackson, who's coming off his best game of the season in their win against Wyoming.
A clutch 20-point performance. He's shooting an incendiary 54% from downtown. Also second in the league in assists and assist-to-turnover ratio. A true provocateur for New Mexico.
And this guy, the leading scorer, one of the leading scorers in the Mountain West, is Deshaun Taylor.
He is explosive, Ari. He'll need to be this afternoon. Fresno State needs him to get involved early and often to play at the pace the Bulldogs need to prevail on their home floor.
Starting lineups for New Mexico, and the starting 5 has changed a lot because head coach Paul Weir, it depends on how well you do defensively, but Mawatch is coming on, the freshman number 10, and Anthony Mathis, a terrific three-point shooter, 45% from beyond the arc. The Fresno State starting 5, they've got 4 players that average in double figures, and Bryson Williams is a good guy to watch, can do a lot of different things for this team, and Sam Bittner is a glue guy. He makes a lot of shots, shoots a high percentage from the field, the three-point line, and the free throw line. Our numbers guy, Bill, will handle it when we get more in depth on Sam Bittner. So we are just about set for basketball as we've got 20 minutes on the clock. And Bill, what are some keys to look for early?
Well, Ari, when it comes to New Mexico, they've got to defend, okay? And they've got to push Fresno State off the three-point line. They also want to defend without fouling, keep Fresno State off the free throw line. And conversely, for Fresno State, it's all about turnovers. Take care of the ball, but maintain your aggression. Get to the free throw line. And transition D is paramount. Both coaches expecting this to be a high possession game.
New Mexico, how do they figure out a way to translate what they've been able to do at the pit and bring it on the road?
They feel as though they're poised for a breakthrough, Ari, and it really starts on the defensive end of the floor and also the work ethic that Paul Weir has tried to inculcate in his squad, in the program. A lot of times it just boils down to believing it, and they're playing well right now. They believe they're poised to do it, and it's a great opportunity and also a challenge here at the Save Mart Center.
Now, for the Bulldogs, their losses have been tough ones. They lose it in overtime against Utah State. They lose to Boise State. They've lost to Nevada. Is this team a top 4 team and they just haven't gotten it right just yet?
They've got to prove it, Ari. And I think that's the beauty of the Mountain West, to keep you hungry. They've got to prove it. Like Deshaun Taylor the other night against Boise State, his first field goal occurred with around 4 minutes to go in the game. They've got to get him involved a bit earlier. And also, they have to maintain their poise and play through some of the swoons and some of the droughts that they've had, try to avoid those for sure.
There's a first-year head coach for New Mexico, Paul Weir, 28-6 a year ago at New Mexico State. That was good enough to win the WAC and get his team to the NCAA tournament. First coach ever to be the head coach of both New Mexico State and New Mexico, as they have a great rivalry. Rodney Terry, outstanding head coach in his 7th year at Fresno State. It was just 2 seasons ago that they won the Mountain West tournament title and went to the NCAA tournament. And his teams always seem to get better as the season progresses.
And that's exactly what you want to see, Ari, as a coach. And, of course, Rodney was Rick Barnes' chief lieutenant when Texas went to the Final Four,
sure.
Old school style. They know how to win here. They've done a terrific job. And, again, they have won 19 of their last 25 after a loss. So we'll see if that trend continues this afternoon. But, again, this is a terrific matchup because New Mexico seems to be finding their groove.
Yes.
Can they break through here on the road? Can Fresno State get right?
The key for New Mexico is they got to hit shots. They make almost 11 threes per game. Number 7th in America in total made threes coming in, and 12th in threes per game at that 10.9 number. Bulldogs start out with it. And we've got a quick foul against New Mexico. Foul goes on number 14, Dane Kuiper. Here's Bittner with it in the corner, almost lost the handle. Deron Hopkins, very versatile player, good quicks, and leaves that one a little bit short on the board. Mile watch the rebound. And here is Jackson, but no first, a double dribble. Keep in mind, the Mile watch guy, fascinating story, grew up in what's now South Sudan, only started playing basketball, Bill, at the age of 12.
And fighting through that adversity, and he was a groundskeeper. That's when they knew this kid had a strong work ethic. He almost didn't want to take a recruiting call. He was too busy working.
He took the call, but wasn't interested in having a conversation. He's out in the middle of something here. Bittner got caught up in the air, but finds Williams. Soft touch, no, fight for it. Pinchuk comes away with the rebound for the Lobos.
That's been the bane of Fresno State of late, Ari, missing some really good field goal opportunities.
Loose ball on the floor. Lobos come up with it. It's Mathis, who's, as I mentioned, an outstanding three-point shooter.
His numbers have really risen, Ari, averaging 2 and 3 points in his previous seasons. Now a double-digit guy.
Kuiper rattles home the triple from the corner. Dane Kuiper, his 27th made three of the season.
Ari, you mentioned the Lobos' propensity to take and make threes. Fresno State struggling to defend them. 44% three-point field goal percentage against. That's 10th next to last in the Mountain West Conference.
Bryson Williams up top. Deshaun Taylor, you wanted to get him involved early. Instead, it's Bittner, and he knocks down the triple from the corner.
Now remember, Bittner had 21 against New Mexico in the Bulldogs' victory in the Mountain West tournament last season.
Jackson misses the three. Williams the rebound.
Good transition defense by New Mexico. Notice the excellent ball pressure.
Taylor gets it to Williams, gets in close, and throws it down with two hands.
However, you can have good ball pressure, but when you've got Williams operating in the painted area, and if he's not fronted and he receives so deep as he does here, just an easy entry pass and a flush. So that'll be to the consternation of Paul Weir, a bit too easy.
Matchup of two really good point guards, Deshaun Taylor and Anthony Jackson. Firstinger gets bumped. They're going to get Williams. Firstinger has been on a roll of late, Bill. 7 straight double-figure games. Also has 5 double-doubles this season. He seems to be playing his best basketball in conference play.
He really is, Ari. His body has developed. And, of course, he's been around now the Mountain West, becoming a veteran.
Malwatch misses the three. Taylor the rebound.
Paul Weir had some really dynamic comments after the victory over Wyoming the other night.
Right, he's in love with this team.
He really is.
Offensive foul. Ray Bowles bowled over the defender, and it's going to be New Mexico basketball.
So we see here Bittner, kind of a little exchange, but excellent lateral quickness. Picking up the charge, which is a subject of debate right now at the Save Mart Center. But that's Jackson doing it defensively as well, Ari, with a great lateral quickness. They know about him at in the MAC conference.
Simmons just lost the handle. It's the big fella, Williams, 1-on-2. Well done, Bryson Williams, sophomore from right here in Fresno, California. And we got a whistle against the Bulldogs. I believe they got Taylor there.
So just good team defense here. Good help by Bittner. Williams, furtive, drives, finishes. And this is the type of pace that Rodney Terry wants and aspires to. And New Mexico and Paul Weir, big analytics guy. You see a little flex being run here.
And both these teams could score. Fresno State at 78 points per game, New Mexico at 79. So they do it differently, but they both could score the basketball as Taylor almost comes up with the steal. Still 12 on the shot clock. One thing to keep in mind, Bill, that we got to watch is how Paul Weir uses a rotation. He really only has 8 scholarship players available. They only traveled with 9 guys.
Yeah, so Sam Logwood out due to injury.
And Troy Simons did not make the trip. Now, he had been suspended for 1 game for 2 ejections by the Mountain West, but coach said he had to work things out. So he'll be back soon as Kuiper's 3 no good. And Jerron Hopkins gets the rebound, the transfer from Colorado. A lot of transfers on this Fresno State team.
That's why, from a recruiting perspective, always putting your best foot forward and maintaining the opportunity to be a landing spot for players.
Jerron Hopkins, nice take as he gets to the rim.
Hopkins operating with great poise, good finish. Those are the types of shots that Rodney Terry obviously would love for the Bulldogs to capitalize on. This is a 9-0 run for Fresno State over the last 2:21.
Chris McNeil, elbow jumper, in and out. Bittner the rebound. Hopkins uses the screen. Bowles with it, guarded by McNeil. New Mexico in the man-to-man. Williams drives and finishes with the reverse.
Just great opportunistic play by Williams. He's asserting himself here early. The Bulldogs are going to him. He's getting multiple touches.
We've got to travel. So tough start here for the Lobos. Fresno State leads 11-3. And Bryson Williams has been a beast early as he has a half a dozen to lead the way for the Bulldogs. Terrific start for the Bulldogs, and they have been led by Bryson Williams, who leads the Mountain West in field goal percentage at just a tick under 64%. What makes him so effective?
You know, Ari, he plays bigger than his 6'8" frame, 230. And from this standpoint, he's 3 of 4. And again, he's taking and getting high percentage shots and good looks. So from that standpoint, he has led Fresno State to a very auspicious start. And he's got good skills in the painted area as well.
Bowles uses the screen. Three-point shooter comes in and knocks it down. Jamel Taylor, 43% three-point field goal shooter in his career. Boy, once he got those prescription glasses, he's been a whole new student athlete for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he is a threat when he leaves the dorm room. He's got range like Lettucey, making his presence felt early.
Pinchuk, tough shot, no, tries to go and get it, and it's Hopkins the loose ball. So far, the Bulldogs very effective at getting to the loose balls, creating opportunity. It's Hopkins, but he misses the dunk.
Wow, Hopkins asserting himself. And Ari, when Fresno State gets stops like this, limiting New Mexico to one field goal opportunity, it's good news. That's not, however.
Firstinger gets his first basket of the game.
You see the Lobos extending here a little bit.
You know what I like what Coach Weir said about Firstinger and a few other guys is, hold on, Bowles gets easy too. What he said was they've surrendered to coaching. They've bought in completely. I've never heard a coach say that about players in a new system. Say, surrender. Just be like, I'm in. I'm committed. I'm all yours, Coach.
Let's roll with it. And we see Bowles here with a straight line drive. The rotation is late. And Paul Weir wants to reinsure that his guys are buying in. A little bit of feckless defense on that particular possession for Fresno State. And this has been, as you alluded to, Ari, the conundrum for New Mexico. Their play has not been portable as yet, and this is a rough start on the road.
And I'm telling you, Bill, 10 days ago, I was there when New Mexico played at Boise State, and that game was over in the first 10 minutes. I mean, and then I'm at Wyoming Wednesday night, and they battle hard. They play with great intensity, and they get a win over a quality Cowboy team. So they have still yet to figure out how to get off to a good start on the road.
And some of the numbers are especially impressive. We talked about the three-point shooting prowess, the field goal, the turnover margin, third in the conference. Points allowed, second in the conference. Three-point field goal percentage, third. So that's tough to do, to reinforce that with your squad in a transition first year. Weir's an excellent coach, but you're right, Ari, they have not solved it yet away from the pit.
Firstinger against Carter. Mathis, the deep triple. Doesn't get it to go. Bowles gets the rebound. Here come the Bulldogs.
Bowles is solid. Just one of those glue guys. He's played oodles of minutes.
Started every game, one of two guys to start every game this season along with Williams. Here's TC, Terrell Carter with the left hand.
Really nice what Fresno State is doing, ensuring that their big men get touches. Now Carter after Williams' outburst early.
Firstinger, the two, and that's a mental lapse defensively, is that nobody went. He screened, went to the basket, no defender with him.
Yeah, there's just no rotation. That's the second offensive set in which Firstinger has scored in easy fashion. So that'll be a topic of conversation for Rodney Terry and his staff. Jerry Wainwright looking a little perturbed at that last execution by New Mexico.
Basket and the foul, Bryson Williams.
Now, Ari, you asked me earlier what makes Williams so good and so special. Notice here, there's Bowles, the glue guy, into the painted area. He dishes, and Williams with great extension. He's exceptionally long and plays much bigger than his 6'8" frame.
And he used the going underneath the basket to help him out, to give him a little bit of room to get the field goal.
Exactly. Very intelligently so.
For Bryson Williams.
And this has been a very good start for Fresno State. Rodney Terry reinforcing its shoot-around to take care of the basketball, but not at the expense of playing aggressively. That's the great paradox of the game. Take care of it, but trust it. Push. And the Bulldogs have done a great job thus far.
Firstinger gets doubled before the pass. The double came late.
It's interesting, Ari. Multiple guys averaging double figures for Fresno State, as you mentioned earlier, 4 players. However, they do not have a player averaging 5 rebounds per night as yet.
No, it's been by committee.
And certainly their athleticism would lend itself to the opportunity. You know, if I was magnanimous, Jerron Hopkins is averaging 4.8 rebounds, so you could say that he's averaging 5 per game. But I was surprised taking a look at the numbers. Got a little flex
Jackson,
situation.
nice pass inside to Mathis.
Beautiful. There's Jackson, second in the league in assists, running a little bit of a flex situation. Mathis found a gap in it. And that always can settle a team on the road. But again, you do not want your offense to affect your defense. You want to be impervious, play hard defensively, regardless of how your offense is. But when you have good outcomes like that, that does kind of boost your level of optimism.
We have a timeout on the floor here at the Save Mart Center. Terrific start for the Bulldogs as they lead 21-9. Step away for just a moment. We'll come back. Mountain West basketball on a Saturday in Fresno. We'll be back on ESPN. Welcome back to Fresno. Bryson Williams, very effective thus far as he's got 9 points already, Bill.
Scoring in a variety of ways in transition. No fronting there. Just an easy entry pass here. The excellent stop and extension reverse style. And Bowles with the dish. As a team, Fresno State 9 of 12, Ari, from the floor for a sizzling 75%, led by Williams.
And they're getting points where they want them. 14 of their 21 points coming in the paint.
Williams averages 11 points per night. He already has 9. So he's off to a good start as Fresno State goes inside out. And guess what, Ari? They're 2 of 2
Oh, look
downtown.
at TC. I'm telling you, he is a beast. Terrell Carter II. They list him at 6'10", 290. I can't measure his weight from here, but maybe closer to 300. He's a monster.
He is all of it. Great energy guy. Went 3 consecutive games without scoring, Ari, before 9 against Boise State the other night.
Jackson. Are they going to count the basket? They should. Yep, the basket counts and the foul.
Now, unfortunately, here Jackson went down hard. He's in some pain, but he's gotten up off the floor. But what a tremendous take. Look at the concentration and the ability to finish. And he's making this shot as the elevator is on the way down. You can see the pain that he's in. People around the MAC talk about Jackson's quickness, his ability to create on his own, and as we just saw, the ability to finish.
He's shaking up. He's going to check out of the game. I'll be curious who's going to shoot the free throw. Firstinger is a terrific free throw shooter for a big man at 81.5% from the line. But it's McNeil who will come in and shoot, because he's who came into the game for Jackson. He's at 73%.
Not an easy thing to do either, to enter the game and get to the free throw line straight away.
Hopkins almost like a point forward. He can do so many different things for the Bulldogs. Inside, it's Carter again, this time with the left.
The dish from Williams, the high-low, the big men getting it done. Excellent play by Fresno State.
Mathis, yes. He's got unlimited range. Anthony Mathis, that's his 46th three of the season.
Averaging 14 in conference already. This is a guy who averaged 2 and 3 points respectively the last 2 seasons, so his confidence level and production increasing under Paul Weir.
Taylor shows he's not just a three-point shooter. Knocks down the free throw line jumper, the transfer from Washington.
The field goal percentage of Fresno State remains sky high.
The three from McNeil, and he gets it to go. And now the Lobos are heating up, down 10.
Sometimes it just boils down to being a make or miss game.
Steele, Mathis, and he gets the two. The Lobos on a nice run right now.
Now these are the turnovers that I wouldn't say are unforced, Ari, but there's a little bit of pressure, and the Bulldogs turn it over. Something that they've been trying to avoid.
The three, he might not miss today, Bill. Mel Taylor coming in, he's hot. And New Mexico gets a timeout. Score 30-19 Bulldogs.
Terrifically set up, excellent screen by Bryson Williams.
It seems Fresno State's getting almost any shot they want. What does New Mexico need to do to change it up?
Well, certainly internally, they need to front players and then show weak side help, but at the expense of perhaps giving up three-point field goal opportunities. But it begins with ball pressure, and they just need to play more intensely on the ball and trying to shut down the painted area. It's just like I agree with you, that's just way too easy right now for Fresno State.
And Fresno State getting a lot of easy points in the paint. They're knocking down threes.
And again, it's been a little bit of the turnover scenario for Fresno State, allowing New Mexico to make a little bit of a run. So that has to be cleaned up, and that certainly has been a topic of conversation for Rodney Terry and his team. And clearly the strategy has been to go inside to Williams, to Carter, early. And I think that despite notwithstanding Firstinger, there's a belief from Fresno State that they can be effective in the interior, that will open up the perimeter. So they've certainly attacked early inside the paint.
Malwatch can knock down that triple. McNeil thought about the three. Malwatch the drive. Firstinger doesn't want the baseline jumper. Now the shot clock's an issue. McNeil, Malwatch got to get it off, and that's blocked. Oh boy, it looked like it was going to be Fresno State ball. I'm not sure why they needed to blow the whistle there, right? I mean, the ball had already been shot.
Yeah, it looked like it was a play-on scenario.
Yeah.
And that really, obviously, we see that certain times, and it penalizes the defense. Defense in front of Fresno State's bench, in front of the respective benches first half, but that's an excellent defensive possession by the Bulldogs.
Keep giving it to Carter, and this time offensive on Terrell Carter. And he's looking over at his coach. He said, hey, Coach Terry, I just put my hands up.
He's had to look as though no good deed goes unpunished. He's just working hard in the paint.
And Carter will go to the bench, but he was effective while he was out there. 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting.
He really was. And he even had great energy in those games that he didn't score. Good bench guy, but very effective here early. Jackson back on the floor for the Lobos. That's certainly good news, Ari.
Yeah, they struggle without him. He gives them so much energy. As that pass, too much on it, ends up behind the Fresno State bench. So the lead's still 11. And look at Hopkins' handle. He's just a nice player at 6'6", senior from Mesa, Arizona. Hopkins loses it. Good defense from the Lobos, and then an immediate foul.
And Coach Weir the other night, Ari, we alluded to it earlier. He said these guys defy logic. I don't want to be too emotional, but this is an amazing group, as I've ever been around. That kind of jumped out at me.
Right, because he was a part of some great teams with Marvin Menzies at New Mexico State that went to many NCAA tournaments together. Then he was the head coach at New Mexico State last year where they go 28-6, and here he's halfway through his first season, and he's feeling the love for his guys.
He really is. Of course, they have Pascal Siakam now toiling for the Raptors there. Marvin Menzies, he learned so much from him that he shared with us, of course. And this is after a win over Wyoming. They trailed at the half. The first game this season, they were 0-9 up until that point when trailing at the half. And Wyoming has beaten San Diego State and Boise State.
Impressive wins. One of the things he said about Marvin Menzies, I thought he really nailed it. He said that he's an emotionally balanced coach. He's able to keep things in perspective with all the ups and downs of a season, even a day in a season, even a game within a season. He's like, Marvin knows how to just handle it emotionally, and he's good at reading people. Marvin Menzies, of course, the head coach at UNLV, and one of the nicest guys in our profession.
Yeah, he really is. Terrific.
Class act.
No question about that. And every shoot around, you feel like you're getting your, well, for you, Ari, it's PhD. For me, it's master's.
We're getting an education either way, right? Yeah, Rodney Terry working the officials a little bit. And Math is showing off that range. And Taylor saying, you know what? I can do that too. Bulldogs by 9. Check that. Fresno State 30, New Mexico 21. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Ari Wolf alongside Bill Horrenda and our entire ESPN crew. Great time here so far at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. And the Bulldogs have looked good. They've managed to score in a variety of ways.
They're 13 of 16 from the floor, 3 of 3 from downtown. So you have a feeling that whoever has the ability to secure some stops may be feeling good here.
Stops have been very hard to come by for the Lobos.
81% from the floor, Ari Fresno. You get a stat sheet like this, you almost double check it. Like, is this correct? Is this really true?
Well, they're just shooting layups. Bowles gets the 2.
Bowles is a real do-it-all type guy. Elusive in the paint. Good drive.
Pretty basketball right there. Pick and roll, and he waited for Mawatch to get open. Gets it to him for the easy 2.
Now that's what Paul Weir told us about. He's up over 100 practices. guys working on shooting. He's really reinforcing the work ethic, and you can see the dividends that pays in execution offensively. And also defensively here with the turnover.
One guy to look for here, Bill, that's an exciting guy is Nate Grimes. Comes off the bench, plays 11 minutes, and averages almost 6 rebounds per game. Talk about rechecking stats. It's like, how's that possible?
And with the short bench, Ari, that you mentioned earlier, that's vital that you have contributions from all 8 guys. Notice here they run the flex offense with great patience, so tough to defend it.
Kuiper won't look to shoot much off the dribble. He's much more of a setup guy. McNeil, the fadeaway off the back iron. Rebound to the Bulldogs.
Nice box out by Grimes, right on cue, Ari, as you mentioned.
Bittner off his foot. Lobos come up with it. Here comes Jackson. Finds the shooter, McNeil. Can't get it to go, and we're going to be over the back on this end with Nate Grimes. He's #1 in the Mountain West in rebounds per 40 minutes. So if you're not familiar with that, it's for, he doesn't play 40 minutes a game. We just say he plays 11. But for every 40 total minutes, he gets the most rebounds per.
Yeah, and, Ari, we saw John Calipari in Kentucky a couple of years ago in particular, where he had multiple guys that had oodles of talent. And that's how he recruited them, that your numbers will project out over 40 minutes, and that will satisfy NBA people. You don't have to come here and play 35 minutes, and it worked out well for those players and for Calipari, of course. Whether it's Willie Cauley-Stein, John Wall,
right.
We know the litany.
Yes.
So from that standpoint, it's just a different way of looking at the game as a opposed to per game. And also, you have to take the numbers with a grain of salt, even average points per game allowed or scored, because it depends upon the number of possessions. That's
True.
Simply pace. So if you play at a faster pace, you may give up more points, but that may be okay because of the inflated number of possessions that you have to defend.
Right. Pinchuk knocks down that last free throw and then heads to the bench.
You do have to admire here. I mean, think about it this way. You're allowing 80+% for the opposition, and you're only down 7. It's almost a 2-possession game.
Amazing.
I mean, from that standpoint, you got to feel decent about things. So adjustments at halftime will be necessary, but give New Mexico credit for hanging in.
Basket no good, but free throws coming up for Hopkins.
Lobo foul on #3, Antonio Jackson, his first.
And this is what Rodney Terry wanted to do and what Paul Weir wanted to avoid. Weir wants to defend without fouling, that familiar mantra, and Fresno State wants to get to the free throw line, where it's been a struggle for the team, but at least get there, put yourself in position to get to the line and get some easy points.
Hopkins just a 58% free throw shooter, but gets the first one to go. Averaging 11 points per game, almost 5 rebounds.
So it makes coaching such a tough profession. Just from the standpoint that you look at Fresno State as a team from the free throw line, struggling there, and
they get there a lot, but they don't, they want to be better at the free throw line. Backcourt violation for New Mexico. That's their 5th turnover. Fresno State has 6 turnovers.
And you mentioned it at the top, Ari, how important this game is for Fresno State. The difference in conference, talk to coaches throughout the country, the collegiate level and the NBA level as well, but you're 2-3 right now. The difference between 3-3 and 2-4, that is a
huge,
gigantic difference.
Well, all of a sudden they would leapfrog New Mexico. They'd have the same conference record, but they'd have the tiebreaker on. And one game makes a huge difference. Bowles, and he loses it and then commits the personal foul.
Hold on, foul on Ray Bowles, his 2nd personal. 19 fouls.
The 19 foul. It'll be the 1-on-1. Both teams. We'll check that. So one more on the Bulldogs. It'll be the double bonus for New Mexico.
And there's an example of, I love Bowles' intensity. Turns it over, but the frustration, and he commits a foul. So now, you know, you've got an 8-point cushion. There's still 5.5 to go here. And as you said, Ari, now on the next foul, it's the double bonus. So, again, the defending without fouling is so important. We hear that so frequently, but it's tough to execute. You're in the heat of the moment, emotions running high, your intensity level, your motor's running. Bulls has a terrific motor.
Now Watch now has 4 points in the game. Keep in mind, when he gets 10 points or more, the Lobos are 4-0, and he's been playing very well in Mountain West play. Mountain West alone, he's averaging more than 10 points per game, whereas for the season, he's at 7 points per game. Deshaun Taylor, you said they needed to get him going early, and he hasn't gotten that many looks. He's not attempted a shot, Bill.
Yeah, it's perplexing, Ari. His first field goal occurring around the 4-minute mark the other night.
How about that? Bryson Williams, he's got 11 points.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You go to Williams tonight. And he is going to operate in the paint and produce.
Now watch the drive. Still 10 on the shot clock. The three from Kuiper, no. Long rebound. Hopkins has it.
Good opportunity for Taylor. Just didn't drain it.
A little bit short, but Firstinger cleans it up.
Pass by Joe Firstinger.
It's a two-possession game. The Lobos on the move. Firstinger, inexorable, opportunistic on the offensive glass.
The three stays hot. It's Jamel Taylor.
He is an absolutely lethal three-point shooter.
And he has not missed yet. He's got 11 points, 4 of 4 shooting, 3 for 3 from downtown.
Sometimes as a coach, you got to ask guys, like, you got to ask Mathis, you have to tell me what cologne Taylor is wearing. That's how we have to guard him.
Kuiper connects from long distance, right back to a 6-point game.
Fresno State has made 10 of their last 11 field goals. They are absolutely incendiary.
I'd like to see Deshaun get a little more selfish.
Yeah, you know, Ari, I concur.
Williams, tough shot, tries to go and get it. It's Grimes underneath, and it'll be New Mexico ball. We've got a timeout here at the Save Mart Center. 6-point lead for the Bulldogs. And you see the star of the first half, Bryson Williams. Nice little jump hook there. And then Jamel Taylor, swish. Six-point lead for Fresno State. Saturday afternoon, Mountain West Hoops. Well, Bill Horrenda. And that guy right there, Jamel Taylor, has come off the bench and been lights out shooting the basketball.
4 of 4. 3 of his 4 field goals have been from downtown. He has 11. And we know about his prowess. He was top 5 in three-point field goal percentage in the country last season. Kind of dipped out due to the number of attempts late in the year, but we're not going to let the details get in the way of a great story. The guy's one of the best three-point field goal shooters in the country, and he's been perfect thus far today.
McNeil, but he crossed over Taylor, but good. Taylor fell to the ground.
Critical juncture here, Ari, right? 2-possession game on the road for New Mexico. 76% from the floor for Fresno State, but you're still, of course, in it with oodles of time to go. How do you manage the final 240?
Jamel Taylor, he's been hot. If you're New Mexico, you got to make sure you know where he is. And Carter gets fouled. Just the 15th foul on the Lobos, so no free throws.
See, now, McNeil was in the help position when Carter's working in the post. Now, of course, that frees up an opportunity for Taylor from 3. So when you got a guy who's perfect from 3, it's trouble.
Wow, Carter went down hard. He's slow to get up. Here come the Lobos. They got 5 on 4 right now. And they're going to get the easy 2. As Carter just made it to half court. And Carter's staring down the official. He's not happy.
He's looking at Ruben Ramos like, you could have kind of helped me out there, my friend. I was called for a somewhat ticky-tack foul posting up earlier and was not the beneficiary of the contact there.
Williams continues to put on a display. He's got 13 first-half points.
A Fresno kid, and he's scoring in a variety of ways, Ari. So crafty around the basket, so long and rangy.
McNeil thought about the 3.
I really like New Mexico's poise offensively, Ari.
First stinger, knocks down the jumper.
Short corner, triple threat position. You know, they receive, they're in position, they ponder, they cogitate, they're leading the defense. Playing with great poise on the road. Trying to get their first Mountain West road victory.
Their first road win of any kind. They're 0-5 on the season on the road. They'll take one anywhere. Non-conference, conference.
In the parking lot?
Yeah,
it
somewhere.
doesn't matter, that's right.
As long as he's not at the pit. That's going to go against the Bulldogs.
Hold on, foul on Terrell Carter, his 3rd personal.
3rd foul on Carter, so see if Rodney Terry elects to have him check out here for the last minute, 6 seconds. Certainly don't want him to pick up his 4.
Just a 4-point lead. Hard to believe, all things considered. When you're shooting at 71%, you think you're winning by double digits at home.
When was the last time you saw that? If ever. It's uncanny. That's what's beautiful about the game. You just never know what you're going to see. So for New Mexico, of course, it'll be all about defense.
The last time I remember a team shooting so well, but it still being a really close game, was the '84 NCAA final where Villanova shot 72% from the field or something crazy, and they still almost lost the game to Georgia State.
That's right. Harold Presley, Jensen, and company.
McLean, the whole gang.
That's right.
Ed Pinckney is on that team, right?
Yep.
Showing our age right now, Bill.
Well,
Lobos have turned it up defensively after giving up a lot of easy baskets. Paul Weir's got them playing hard right now. Shot clock under 10. Can he make another one? Not this time.
Jamel Taylor is human. He is
You're
not
saying with the prescription glasses, he's still human.
He is not a three-point machine. He's very close, however.
McNeil, nicely done. All right, Bulldogs can hope for one, and this game is deadlocked at 40.
The mercurial, fickle Mountain West Conference, topsy-turvy.
Telling you, it's what hurts them at the end of the year because they all beat up on each other. There's no easy road wins in the Mountain West.
These venues are, I don't want to go through them because we're going to get letters if we leave any of them out. They're all
Hopkins,
very tough.
yes, to end the half. 42-40 Bulldogs in front, and they've managed to do it with 0 points from Deshaun Taylor.
Just uncanny. For New Mexico, they've got to be able to defend to bring that field goal percentage against down. And for Fresno State, decrease the turnovers. Keep Carter on the floor. Get Deshaun involved early and often.
Bryson Williams, a stud in the first half. Very entertaining game. We're coming right back to the Save Mart Center. Welcome back. 2-point game as we're just about set to start the second half here at the Save Mart Center. There were many great players in the first half, but perhaps none better than Bryson Williams. 13 points on 6 of 8 shooting. Had a couple of assists as well. And he got most of his points very close to the basket. They're going to have to do a better job of keeping him off the block.
Fresno State's 11-3 start to the game, 8 of their 11 in the paint. There was a Bittner 3, 6 of those coming from Bryson Williams. He averages in conference 11 points per night on 60% shooting. It'll be interesting to see, Ari, if Rodney Terry, if they go to Williams initially here to start the second half the way they started the game.
Anthony Jackson just 2 points in the first half in 12 minutes of play. See if they can't get him going. He seems to be a real catalyst for this New Mexico team. When he plays well, they play well.
Remember, he went down hard and exited the game, Ari, on that terrific shot he made when he hit the deck.
Now watch, boy, his confidence is growing by the second. Mawach.
One of the best names in the country and one of the best emerging games in the land.
He's got 10 points in the game. Now keep in mind, they're 4-0 when he has 10 or more, so we'll keep track of that.
Gotta love the Save Mart Center crowd on their feet until the Bulldogs score.
Funny how traditions are different. When you're down at New Mexico, it's the exact opposite. It's until the other team scores that they stay on their feet.
That's a focus on defense.
There it is. Deshaun Taylor hits the triple. And his first points of the afternoon.
We talked about that as well, Ari. Get Taylor going early. He's very quiet in the first half.
Extra pass, yes. Mathis' 3, yes. Anthony Mathis, 45% from beyond the arc on the season. And today he's 2 for 3, so he's going to up that a little bit.
We've talked about both coaches expecting a high possession game, and we're seeing more good offense to start the second half.
Tied at 45, and there's a strip by Jackson. Gets out on the break, waits for a teammate, and Mawach the finish. Very unselfish from Jackson.
The magnanimous Lobos with systemic production, multiple touches, and an early second half lead on the road.
John Hopkins, Bittner. Williams wants the ball. Bowles going to take it himself, but he got fouled before the shot.
And Ari, so interesting to look at the numbers. Trailing at the half, New Mexico 1-9. That first win when trailing at the half against Wyoming the other night. Fresno State when leading at the half 12-2. They've won 59 of their last 65 when leading at the half in this building.
Taylor, who knocked down his first shot on the last possession. See if they can't get him some more looks. Bowles crosses back over. It's Taylor. Taylor's open. It's the defender out of the way. Swish again for Deshaun Taylor, and he's quickly got half a dozen.
Great poise by Fresno State. He drained it with the shot clock going down. Great possession.
Mawatch, look at him. I mean, he is playing like he owns the Save Mart Center.
Great recognition of his ability to put it to the deck and get by Bittner without any help. Excellent take to the basket.
Bowles the triple. Why not?
There may not be any defense in the second half. I could be totally wrong. They're just going to keep making shots. It's going to be a shootout.
I'm all for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Defense is okay, but offense is more fun.
That's right. Offense sells tickets. Defense may win you a couple of championships.
First stinger needs some help. Shot clock at 5. Jackson, the spin. Mawatch. Basket and the foul. Mawatch, what a game he's having already. 14 points. Last 2 gives him 16. Now a chance for the conventional three-point play.
Jackson, second in the conference in assists and assist-to-turnover ratio, finds Mawatch. And remember, Ari, this is a very emotional team. They trailed by 5 at home against Wyoming. Outscored the Cowboys by 14 in the second half. Wyoming, who's beaten San Diego State, who's beaten Boise State, buoys their optimism and confidence.
Hayden Dalton, one of those stars for the Cowboys, we had a soundbite from him. We were asking him about places he has to play on the road, and he said to his parents, he said, if you're going to come to one road game, come to the Pit. And his parents did come to the game, as hopefully Taylor's okay, went down hard. Problem is Dalton's parents came to the game, and he proved his comment because New Mexico came up with the win.
Yeah, despite a good effort, 10 points by Dalton. Justin James went for 31, but it was Antonio Jackson.
Let me tell you,
combining for 37.
Justin James is the new Josh Adams. That guy's got springs in his legs. I mean, some of the dunks the other night just floored me.
Freakish athlete,
yeah.
Absolutely. And another, conversely for Fresno State, good sign, like we talked about, getting Deshaun Taylor here more active.
Now, do you think that this is a philosophy that comes from Coach Terry, knowing that Deshaun sort of knows when he needs to assert himself, get other guys going, or do you just think that he didn't get enough touches in the first half?
I think it's his personality, Ari, and I think that he just lets the game come to him and kind of asserts himself when he's feeling it.
Well, he's feeling it right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything that's, forced, and I think it's treacherous terrain as a coach to kind of force a guy to get involved. Let the flow of the game come to him.
But, I mean, he's all over McNeil now. He just seems his intensity's increased. First stinger, tough shot, can't get it to go. Bittner, good box out for the rebound. Bittner tried to create the contact. He was a little out of control, and here come the Lobos. Set up Kuiper for the triple. Spins out. Oh, goodness, that was halfway down. And for them, that's good offense. Other teams would say, why are you taking a 3 on a 2-on-1 break? But for them, that's a good shot.
Yeah, that really is. Did everything but go down.
I mean, Kuiper's a 35% shooter from beyond the arc. Very certainly capable of making that shot. Hopkins goes and gets it. Talk about a quick leaper. He knew he missed it and was already up in the air as it came off the rim.
It's so difficult, Ari, to box out an opponent like Hopkins in the paint when he shoots like that because he's so quick.
Great ball movement. Mathis, yes! Anthony Mathis, another triple.
Pretty good closeout by Bittinger as well, but Mathis with a great concentration.
He's got 13 points in the game. He's already made 3 threes. He's made as many as 5 in a game as Hopkins there creates for himself. As I think it's official that defense has not been a priority at the start of the half.
Hopkins getting to the basket.
I mean, they're almost shooting 70% again. How about Mathis again? Not short this time. Williams the rebound. I mean, one team's shooting 57%, the other one's shooting 69.7.
Great matchup here. You can see McNeil trying to keep Taylor to the left side of the floor. Just could not do it. Such a tough cover, Deshaun Taylor.
Mawatch gotten it going. He's got 17 points. And he's been so good about getting into the paint with the strong finish. Welcome back, Bulldogs with a 2-point lead. 14 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the second half. It was a 2-point lead for the Bulldogs coming out of the break. And Bill, what have you learned here through first almost 6 minutes of the second half?
That notwithstanding the coaches talking about defense in the locker rooms, which I can virtually guarantee, there still has been scintillating offense here at the Save Mart Center.
And Rodney Terry is really a defense-first kind of guy. It's all about deflections. It's about getting your hands on the ball, being physical, being relentless on the defensive end. But maybe he won't tell us, but maybe he's enjoying some of this offense.
I'm sure he is. And also, Ari, just 8 turnovers for Fresno State.
Only 5 for New Mexico.
So both teams really taking care of the basketball.
And given the pace of the game, I mean, the offense has just been really good. Now Jamel Taylor back in the game, and they don't get it off. Shot clock expires. Taylor only missed 1 shot, not Deshaun Taylor, but Jamel Taylor in the first half. So Coach Terry won't be happy with that lack of execution.
You think about New Mexico, Ari, and Jaquan Lyle and Vance Jackson, some transfers.
Oh, yeah.
They've been busy on the recruiting trail. Tawan A.G. Drew Drinnen, signees early.
Pinchuk gets the easy 2. Vladimir Pinchuk, freshman from Germany.
See some extension here of the man-to-man.
Yeah, the Lobos' pressure doesn't cause necessarily to turn it over a lot, but it's a little bit, it's like a pest. It just kind of annoys you a little bit, and sometimes over the course of a game, it affects you.
No question, Ari. And from that standpoint, you know, you get into kind of the operational area at 20. Look now, we're below 10 on the shot clock, almost at 5.
But you know what Taylor didn't do there is he got him up there. He didn't try to throw it up to the basket, or he might have gotten 3 free throws out of it.
He's kind of chuckling about it.
Yeah. I mean, he had him up in the air. All you got to do is lean in and just throw it up. Right here, don't you think he's going to try to shoot it? And then he just lets it go.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, because he was in perfect position to capitalize on that. Now watch, a little overzealous. Great head fake by Taylor.
Taylor off the screen. Good defense from McNeil. Taylor goes to the ground.
Weir's a little frustrated on that excuse me foul. But the officials are in a difficult position whenever the rhythm, speed, balance, or quickness of the ball handler is affected by the defense. It's virtually an automatic foul.
Watch out for TC going to work. Spins out. Kuiper the rebound.
Remember, Carter operating with 3 fouls, Ari, so that'll be a
something to keep our eye on. Yeah, he's always struggled with foul problems. But boy, he is a load to handle.
He certainly is on both ends of the floor. Space eater.
We got to travel. Bulldog basketball. Game tied at 57, 12:31 to go.
Again, the implications of this game are significant for Fresno State. Currently 2-3 in league. You do not want to drop to 2-4.
And have lost back-to-back home games. You kind of got to hold serve in this conference and hope you can win a few games on the road.
Absolutely. And for New Mexico, what a boost this would be if they could improve to 4-2 and get that elusive first road win under Paul Weir. Such an energetic guy, gregarious. Talked about Tony Snell being around when he first got the job and how he and Pascal Siakam with the Raptors, Snell with the Bucks.
Like he said, these guys are one-dimensional guys. It's basketball all the time, and he wants guys that are completely committed to it.
Work ethic, humility.
Carter can't hold on to it, and Pinchuk affected that.
Number 32, Anthony Mathis, into the Lobo lineup, replacing Chris McNeil.
Carter's terrific from the standpoint that he really wears his emotions on his face. You can just see he's a real fan favorite here at Fresno State. A little frustrated with himself, unable to corral that ball and do some damage.
It seemed like he was in too much of a hurry there. You could just press a little bit.
That old adage, John Wooden, be quick, but don't hurry. Are you right?
Jackson. He did a nice job with his left hand. It wasn't much, but he used enough of his left hand to create a little space. So Jackson now has 4 points in the game, and Mathis knocks that ball out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. Little less than 12 minutes to go in the second half. And this game been real entertaining. It's a 2-point lead for the Lobos. We'll be right back. Two-point lead for the Lobos. This game has been tight since the late going of the first half. Early on, it was all Fresno State. They had a double-digit lead, but the Lobos have come on strong. Three-point shooting, 40%, second best in the Mountain West. And tonight, look at that number, 78%, 7 of 9.
That is absolutely incendiary. And typically when you shoot the ball that well, you're going to get a good result on the scoreboard. But ironically, the Bulldogs find themselves down 2.
Might want to get Jamel Taylor some more shots. He's only missed one shot.
And New Mexico, you mentioned it earlier, comes into this game 7th in the NCAA in total three-point field goal makes, 12th in the country in makes per game at 11. But Fresno State's been terrific from downtown.
And New Mexico's still on pace to perhaps get to 11. They've made 6 threes. Williams there getting that last basket. He's been outstanding. He's got 15. Jackson's triple. Count it. Anthony Jackson suddenly has 7 points in the game.
He used the screen by Firstinger beautifully, and also Carter came out and held pretty good close. But a veteran player wreaked havoc in the MAC as a zip. And now a boom for the Lobos. Jackson.
Taylor, and they're going to get Mathis for a bump.
Lobo foul number 32.
And that's the 1-and-1, Bill. Still 10:50 to go in the game. And the free throws are coming. Taylor to the free throw line, 76% on the season.
And that's what Paul Weir told us, Ari. He said, yes, we got to make shots on the road especially, but fouling without defending, getting Fresno State off of the three-point line.
I think you meant to say defending without fouling. It's a team sport here, yeah. I just wanted to make sure, everybody understood. I was looking at your notes, so I knew.
That's right, defending without fouling. Thank you for that.
Fouling without defending would have been a real problem. So the Lobo lead is 62-59. They've shown some moxie, the Lobos. I know they've had all these problems, inability to win on the road, but based on what we've seen after the first 10 minutes of the first half, they're doing all the things you need to do to win on the road.
They really are, and Coach, we are so excited about this group. Now they've coalesced, playing just 8.
Oh, that is blocked by Grimes, Nate Grimes. That long wingspan, 6'8", 225-pound sophomore from Las Vegas.
Terrific help. And you see the punctilious nature of Rodney Terry and Jerry Wainwright and the staff working on these baseline out-of-bounds plays and how to defend them. When it comes to fruition, that's a good feeling.
Anthony Jackson literally just blew by the defender. Bowles is a good player, but man, that kind of speed, you can't teach that. And that Anthony Jackson's got that kind of quickness.
And here's the dilemma. He's shooting 54% from 3 in conference. So you want to close out on him, but you're right, he's got the ability to go by you and accelerate. Extremely tough to guard.
We'll give it back to Jackson as they reset in the half court. Mawach gets it to go.
But the defense by Bryson Williams, and he still was able to finish.
Mawach, 19 points in the game.
He's been outstanding.
That's a new career high. A lot of bodies flying. Taylor's triple. Swish. Jamel Taylor. Taylor's 4th made 3. He's got 14 points.
That was a big possession for Fresno State. New Mexico looking to extend with a 5-point lead now. It's down to 2.
And Jackson again gets by the defender, and Hopkins, who's a very good defender, gets called for the foul.
His first personal 14 foul.
And also, road wins are so tough to come by, yet so satisfying. Could really be another confidence builder for New Mexico if they could finish and get out of here with a victory. But for Fresno State, of course, Paul Weir knows all about their history at the Save Mart Center, how tough they are here. So many weapons. We've seen that with Bryson Williams and the Taylors on the perimeter for the Bulldogs.
McNeil. Mawach put it on the deck. McNeil with 2, and that's Hopkins with that great block. He is a terrific on-ball defender. Gonna drive, floater, yes. And he gets the stop, takes it down court, and the easy finish for Jerron Hopkins.
Great sequence, the extension at 6'6", the block, the transition finish. The Ferrell fans here at Save Mart Center love it.
Mawatch with the left hand. 21 points.
Mawatch is scoring in a variety of ways, just willing these shots in.
And we went to sleep defensively there, and that has been the one knock from Coach Ware on Mawatch, is that we got to get the same effort on both ends of the floor.
So true, Ari. You mentioned that. That's how you earn your minutes.
That's how you get in the starting lineup for him. You got to play defense. Mathis floater, and that's deflected by Grimes.
Grimes making an impact.
Hopkins, bump, no call. They're letting him play.
It was a good Euro step move by Hopkins there, but you are true, Ari. If you want to play hopscotch, you can go down the block. We used to say that in Jersey at 79th and Kennedy Boulevard. If you want to play hopscotch, you go down the block. This is the Mountain West.
Jerron Hopkins, right when the Bulldogs needed someone to make a play, he does it on both ends. There he is, gets the block, says, you know what, I'll just keep it myself, get into the paint, nice finish. Game deadlocked at 66. Ari Wolf, Bill Herenda here with you at the Save Mart Center in Fresno. Bill, Paul Weir's got something going with this Lobos team. They're buying in, and it seems to be working.
It's infectious, Ari. You can feel it, a really good vibe around the program. He's delighted. We asked him about culture and what is he focused on. Work ethic.
Number one thing you talk about, work ethic, work ethic, work ethic. Oh, mistake there, and it's Taylor. Hangs in the air and gets the two. Jamel Taylor. Taylor's got 16. And for a moment there, it looked like the Lobos were kind of getting away from them. The lead had gotten to 5, and now the Bulldogs with a 2-point lead.
Now look for players at winning time to step up.
Jackson misses the 3. Grimes the rebound. Bulldogs want to run. Deshaun Taylor, the 3. No. Long rebound. Jackson fights for it and comes up with it. Boy, he hustles. Now watch. Yeah, both these teams are playing hard.
They are getting after it.
Before the shot, a foul. Team foul number 8, so they're 1-1 coming up for Bowles. Bowles on the season just 57%, so we'll see if he can earn 2 here.
That has been a conundrum for Fresno State, the free throw shooting. And Ari, something to keep in mind, the Bulldogs 1-2 in games decided by 1 to 5 points. And New Mexico 0-3 in games decided by 1 to 4 points. So both teams have kind of struggled in close games. Rodney Terry and Tommy Nunez.
We've known each other for a few minutes.
Terrific officiating crew here, along with Mike Cyphers and
I tell you,
Ruben
Bowles
Ramos.
didn't look like a 57% free throw shooter on that trip. He goes 2 for 2.
Yeah, Bowles is an impressive player. He's like one of those glue guys,
Yep.
dependable.
Transfer from Pacific, from Modesto, California.
Started a number of games at Pacific and here. Oodles of minutes.
Shot clock under 10. Jackson the lob. Now watch it. That's pinned by Grimes. That's why he's in there, folks. Defense and rebounding from Nate Grimes.
Now, Grimes is a guy, listen, at the pregame meal, you let him go first because he's taking care of you on the floor when you get beat on so many occasions.
Taylor, blocking foul on Pinchuk. So 2 free throws coming up for Deshaun Taylor. Outstanding free throw shooter at 85%. To give you a sense of what Taylor does for this team, Billy's number 1 in points, assists, steals, minutes, free throw attempts, free throw makes. He makes almost 7 free throws per game.
Just ubiquitous in the stat sheet, right? You know, what doesn't he do? So frequently, the game will boil down to kind of the UB Brown maxim. Can you get your top scorers in an area where they can operate and they're operating effectively tonight? Can you get them shots where they can put you over the top? And we see that so frequently at crunch time. It's not lost on us, Ari, how effective New Mexico has been in half-court sets, running the flex, or how terrific Taylor is at the pick and roll, right? And then, of course, Jamel Taylor from 3. So this is an excellent matchups all over the floor here.
It feels like the Lobos got to get points this strip. Suddenly down by half a dozen. Mawatch showing no fear. It rattles out. Lobos need a stop here.
Another rebound by Grimes. How prodigious has he been off the bench? Blocks, defensive rebounds.
Tough shot, Taylor. No, Grimes kept it alive. And Bittner fights for possession to Fresno State. So good hustle there, and they'll get another chance.
13-2 run by the Bulldogs over the last 3:25. And see Taylor and Mike Cyphers having a little chat. And of course, Ari, Fresno State with Paul George with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tyler Johnson with the Miami Heat. 2 years ago, they were in the NCAA tournament. It's a program that seems to always have talent. And Rodney Terry is a guy who knows how to win. Sweet 16 with Texas under Rick Barnes. And you just get the feeling that they're putting these pieces together and finding it and have the potential to threaten in the conference, of course, with Nevada, with the Boise States, Utah State, their reemergence with their terrific guard play. So Mountain West, very intriguing conference.
It's intriguing, but the problem, again, I come back to is when they get into conference play, teams beat up on each other. So if you end up having, let's say Nevada is able to win the conference, I think most people think they are going to win. If a second team's going to get in, they're either going to have to win the Mountain West tournament, or the second team can only afford probably 2 or 3 conference losses. And let me tell you, Nevada may win the conference with 3 conference losses. I mean, they got some tough road games. It's still early in Mountain West play.
Yeah. And we've heard coaches like Eric Musselman in Nevada talk about trying to schedule as well as they can to improve.
Well, the whole conference needs to do it. It was a better non-conference year for the Mountain West than it's been the past couple of years. San Diego State a win at home against Gonzaga. That's a signature win. You need more of those kinds of wins in order to propel the entire conference's RPI.
Yeah, yeah.
Because with the exception of Air Force and San Jose State, you feel like almost anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
That's true. That's true.
And listen, Air Force could still beat some teams at home.
Yeah, the Spartans have shown flashes. Coach Prelou now taking over there. So you're right, Ari. Every night.
And you go to any of the Front Range schools, bad weather, tough trips. Whether you're going to Fort Collins, you're going to Laramie, tough places to go. Bowles, and he's bumped and will go to the free throw line.
Grimes with that kinetic athleticism almost threw it down left-handed after the whistle just for kicks.
Well, Bowles looked real good at the free throw line on his last trip. 2 for 2. He's got 11 points in the game. They already have 5 players in double figures, Bill. They've been spreading the wealth as a free throw short. Led the way by Jamel Taylor's got 16. Bryson Williams has got 15. Then 2 guys with 11. You've got Hopkins and Bowles, and then Deshaun Taylor, their leading scorer, at 10 points. They're getting plenty of production from their studs. One guy who's been pretty quiet in the second half has been Bryson Williams, because he was really the offense of the first half, just 2 points in the second.
Yeah, and here he is, Ari, on cue, checking in.
Oh, and Jackson strip, great hustle by Deshaun Taylor, but it's out of bounds off Taylor. So Lobo basketball, 5:26 to go. The lead is 7. Anthony Jackson almost turned it over, and he got the ball back and called a timeout.
Deshaun Taylor has picked up the defensive intensity.
7-point lead for the Bulldogs. Paul Weir and company tries to figure it out when we come back. Take a look at three-point shooting for the Bulldogs in the second half. There's Deshaun Taylor. A little more Deshaun Taylor.
And you're seeing excellent ball movement, the penetration here by Hopkins and Finesdale. And of course, those are the best opportunities when the ball gets into the painted area and you can kick it out.
They're 8 of 11 from beyond the arc.
And, you know, Ari, Jamel Taylor, one of the best three-point shooters in the country. So you know KYP, know your personnel, you're trying to key on him and his ability to be 4 or 5, 6 of 7 from the floor. When you know going in, he knows he's going to get a lot of attention as a credit to his ability to get loose.
First stinger, jump hook, off the back iron. Hopkins the rebound. That was a good set, though. They got the shot they wanted. 5 minutes to go. The three, count it. Deshaun Taylor heating up. He's got 13 points.
Now the separation is 10. How does New Mexico respond? Fresno State surging at home.
Again, New Mexico looking for their first road victory of the season. Kuiper's triple, they needed it, can't deliver. And Taylor says, you know what, guys, take your time.
This is about execution right now for Fresno State.
Basket and the foul. Deshaun Taylor taking over.
And Ari, we've talked about it. Taylor with only 1 field goal attempt in the first half. asserting himself, sensing that he can take advantage. Great players have that sixth sense and the ability just to understand the nuances of the game. Time, score, situation, matchup. And we see him there with just a great read and finish without any help or rotation from the Lobos. Straight line drive. Attempted a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
Deshaun misses the free throw, his first miss from the line today. He's 4 for 5 from the line, 15 points. Oh, and a blocking foul, and Taylor can't believe it. But just the 16th foul, Bill, so no free throws.
Now, Paul Weir was very unhappy on the foul call on Mathis for the old-fashioned three-point play, was exercising a little diplomacy. Then we have a charged scenario right in front of him, and the Lobos the beneficiary.
He liked that call a little better.
Yes, he did. A little bit of seed planting, perhaps. Of course, the hegemony in the WAC of New Mexico State, taking over from Menzies last season. Sean Taylor, at least 15 points in 7 straight games.
Model of consistency, averaging 18.7 points per game.
And again, one of the best scorers in the conference. And certainly we talked about this being a get-right game, and you would expect him to step up, which he has in a big way here in the second half. Letting the game come to him with maturity, not forcing it.
The one thing the Bulldogs are doing a good job of is not letting Mathis get open looks, the guy with the basketball right now, because he's not much of a threat to go off the dribble. McNeil open three. No, fight for the rebound, and it's Hopkins with it. Boy, Hopkins and Grimes can jump out of the gym.
And that's what I mean, Ari, when I look at this stat sheet that no one is averaging. Well, Hopkins 4.8 rebounds per night. I'd expect that to elevate. We're still working with a small sample size, 5 league games. And the Bulldogs have been able to operate without Carter on the floor. He's had some foul trouble.
Hopkins, it gets blocked. Well done by Furstinger. Lobos must convert. It's McNeil. Basket and the foul. Chris McNeil.
You called it, Ari. They needed to convert. They had. Can they hang in here?
So now a 10-point deficit. They'll have a free throw coming up after the timeout. But Deshaun Taylor has come alive in the second half. 15 points. Knocked down 3 triples and shows he can get it done in the paint as well.
Maxwell at 449-5035 or visit iCareFresno.com.
Fresno State 78, New Mexico 68. New Mexico still looking for their first road win of the season, and the Bulldogs have been led by that guy right there, Deshaun Taylor, down the stretch.
Just 0 of 1 during the first 20 minutes. There we go, 15 points, asserting himself out of Riverside, California. 3 of 5 from downtown, one of the best scorers in the conference. His average is 19 per night.
That's second best in the Mountain West.
And as you'd expect, in a game on your home floor, you've lost 2 straight, kind of a get-right scenario before you head back on the road facing a potential 2-4 start in conference. He has stepped up in a major way before the Bulldogs head to San Diego State and Air Force coming up. However, Ari.
And then they got UNLV and Utah State at home, then at Nevada, at Wyoming. This is a brutal stretch. They have to have this game.
That's why coaching in the Mountain West, it's like eating a bowl of ice cream. You have to have it one little scoop at a time. You eat it too quickly, you're going to get a massive headache. But they've got to finish, Ari. Can they take care of the basketball? Be strong with it. See some pressure here, which you'd expect from the Lobos.
And almost a steal. Bulldogs somehow get it into the front court.
Turnovers have been a problem, as well as free throw shooting for Fresno State, so their challenge is to finish this off.
Taylor up and under. No. First stinger of the rebound. Lobos still with enough time to mount a challenge. Looking for a three-point shooter. It's Mathis. Count it. 6-point game.
They are just hanging around. Mathis, 46% in conference from downtown.
And I mean, now it's that number's going up. He's 4 of 6 from beyond the arc today.
They needed that, Ari. Big 3 by Mathis.
They double Williams. Taylor sees no defender back. Basket and the foul. Deshaun Taylor. He looked, he said, hey, there's no big down there.
Exactly, and he received it, Ari, after the double on the post. The defense had reset, but you're right, there's no weak side help. There's no rotation, and he's got tremendous body control, able to draw contact, absorb it, and still finish.
And finish with the right hand when many times they will go with the left hand, but he scooped it up there with the right.
Yeah, he's just an extremely talented offensive player. Again, just great recognition of time, score, situation, matchup, knows when he can take advantage. An amazing ability to just let the game come to him.
Right, okay, so can I make one request of Deshaun? Maybe we could talk about him at the end of the game. For him to look to be offensive-minded for the full 40 minutes. I mean, would he average 35 a game?
I mentioned that at the top, Ari, as that being a key. And he eschewed that advice from us. He said, I'm going to take one shot. I'm just going to chill.
McNeil, and he is hit by Grimes. So McNeil to the free throw line where he shoots 73%.
You've got to be impressed with Grimes. He, I believe, had a major impact here in the second half. And the stat sheet may reflect it to a degree, but his presence.
Well, he's affected a bunch of shots and he has 5 rebounds.
Yep.
And he's done it in 50 minutes of play, but I think the reason he stayed out there is because of his effectiveness on the defensive end. Plus, doesn't every coach want to have one guy who doesn't need any shots?
Sure. He's low maintenance.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for a low maintenance analyst.
Always.
You don't have one today.
I mean, what do you mean? You're an analyst that teaches. I'm getting ready for the GRE, man. I come and hang out with you. All right, McNeil knocks him down. 7-point game, still 2:04. Lobos need a stop. Taylor comes back to get it, and then he's bumped. Not the guy you want to foul in the double bonus. So he did miss his last free throw attempt, 85% on the season. Deshaun Taylor's got 18 points in the game. And again, if you weren't with us in the first half, scoreless in the first half.
Taylor is
Malwatch fouls out of the game, and what a performance, a new career high for Malwatch. 21 points on 8 of 15 shooting. Also had 3 rebounds and an assist, and boy, he's an emerging talent.
He really is. One of the multiple reasons for optimism if you're a Lobos fan. Malwatch was sensational. And Paul Weir told us, Ari, about the level and intensity of practices. He believes work ethic and learning how to win at this level and how to work to win is vital. And frequently young players, they think they're working hard, but there's still so much more capacity. So Weir and his staff, they have the ability to get the Lobos there. And that seems to be outweighing, you know, pacing guys and resting guys. Now, he may curtail things to get into late February, early March, as most coaches do. But for right now, he's really inculcating that work ethic. And it's despite today and the outcome that they may not want, it is paying dividends.
McNeil, nice pass. Williams thought he got it cleanly. Let's see who they get the foul on. It's on Grimes, his fourth. Firstinger to the free throw line.
Nice dish by McNeil, and yeah, Grimes, good call. They love that Joe Mentum hashtag.
They do. But his streak of double-figure games in jeopardy. He's got 8 points, got a chance for a 9th point right here. 7 straight games in double figures.
Great improvement by Firstinger's game. You can see it physically as well, as body developing, coinciding with his skill development, notwithstanding the missed free throws.
0 for 2. Steal by the Lobos. A double dribble on New Mexico.
Well, we are agreeing with the call and encouraging Jackson to move on to the next play.
Let's take a look at Mountain West scores on a busy Saturday, as we are now nicely into conference play. Take a look. Colorado State gets a win at Wyoming, so Wyoming has lost 2 straight. Nevada all over Utah State. Air Force defeats San Jose State, their first conference win, and then coming up later, a good one. San Diego State at Boise State. Who do you like in that one?
Taco Bell Arena will be rocking.
It will.
I've got a tilt towards the home team in that one, Ari. But again,
I think the jury's out on San Diego State. They have enough cachet in this conference that people assume they'll be one of the elite teams. They've got the win over Gonzaga. They're solid. But I'm really curious to see how they do on the road against the Broncos.
Yeah, and you've got the coaching change and players that have a very high ceiling, like Malik Pope. How does he progress? He's currently averaging 15 points in conference. So to go with 7 rebounds. And, you know, defense is kind of their calling card, and it's been portable for them. Boise State, Hutchison
he's special.
Really is.
Preseason Mountain West Player of the Year, a year ago, first team, all Mountain West.
Coach Rice seems to just reload there instead of rebuild.
Yeah. They are the only team in the last 3 seasons to finish in the top 3 in the Mountain West. They've been the most consistent team, and I don't think a lot of people would get that trivia question right.
Yeah. The way they play, Ari, the freestyle ball movement, player movement, they've got the ability to make threes as well as defend. Good balance on their roster as well.
Hopkins gets it into the front court, and they're content to work some clock. And they want to foul Bowles. They didn't get the foul. And now it's Hopkins. I thought for sure they'd foul. Now it's this late in the clock. No reason to foul. Taylor. No, but a foul.
And Ari, the scenario there was they did want to foul, but defense not being in front of their bench. We are behind. It was encouraging his guys to foul, but good ball movement by Fresno State, very crafty. And that's part of, you know, the cohesion and a group coalescing, new style and what have you. So it's unfortunate because they burned the time there that was really valuable to overcome this deficit, because you really have no opportunity other than to try and foul and extend at this juncture, of course.
So Taylor to shoot 2. His team leading by 9 points, just 69 seconds remain.
And of course, for New Mexico, turning the page on their schedule at UNLV coming up, then home for San Diego State and Colorado State.
That's a real tough homestand, those 2 games.
Yeah.
Watch out for Colorado State. The Rams, they seem to be right there. They play tough, physical, always play good defense. Moby Arena, another place not easy to go in and get a win. Free throw in and out for Taylor.
You know, it's funny how Prentice Nixon, it seems like he's been around forever.
Yeah.
So talented. Another guy averaging 19 a night in conference. Larry Eustace always seems to have ultra competitive teams, and some guys that maybe are underachievers, that are high motor guys.
Or there's something in their game that other people thought was a deterrent to their success, but he likes them anyway because they have a chip on their shoulder and they play hard. I mean, they're nasty. Taylor, Hopkins, the exclamation point for the Bulldogs. They definitely did not want a foul there, and Coach Terry's not happy about it. He wants them to play hard, but no reason to give a foul right there.
This is just gorgeous move here. And Hopkins to the delectation, to the delight of the Save Martin faithful. Everyone
that looks
it.
like fun. I mean, if you had a 6-foot hoop, I could maybe give that a try, but.
And for Fresno State, you got to be feeling really good about this victory. They had, I wouldn't say a somnambulant first half against Boise State, but they just didn't play nearly the way they were capable of. Rallied late. We talked about Deshaun Taylor's first field goal occurring around the 4-minute mark of the game when they rallied, cut the deficit to 2. But you've got to feel good about bouncing here at home after that loss the other night. And we talked about it earlier, Ari, so much talent on this Fresno State team. And, you know, just the role players like Bittner and Grimes and Bowles, they've got good complementary pieces around Deshaun Taylor. Of course, around Jamel Taylor as well. And it's about consistency for Fresno State, in my opinion. Just playing hard, attacking without unnecessary turnovers.
Because they could beat anyone in the conference on any given night.
Exactly.
They're a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I think, you know, their kind of style of play, you know, they lost to Nevada 80-65. When you got players that can exchange defensively, that can guard a lot of different guys, those teams present a lot of problems.
Ari, I'm going to have to start calling you the professor, because when you have guys like that, what happens is you do not have to switch as frequently. There are fewer rotations, and defense becomes easier. You may have been hanging out with Steve Clifford with the Charlotte Hornets, who's thankfully back for some health issues, because that's an excellent point. And those interchangeable parts, defensively, again, you can switch everything. It becomes easier. And then also offensively, you know, obviously guys with size can shoot from downtown in the interior. So,
well, let me tell you, the Martin twins at Nevada, obviously they're pretty similar in their body type. But they got a lot of guys who've got, you know, good length, and Musselman, that time in the NBA. He does some of those little things that you don't often see in the college game, the 2-for-1 late in the half, 2-for-1 late in the game. And because he's been at the NBA, you know, he's getting guys who I think buy in because they think, okay, well, this guy will know how to prepare me to play at the next level.
Yeah. The skill development, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they have team practice and they have individual practice where the guys work on their skills. Pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what Paul Weir was alluding to with his guys, to get them up to speed as well. So excellent coaching throughout the Mountain West Conference. The shoot-arounds are, they're going to start charging me admission to go to these shoot-arounds. I asked so many questions.
Mathis gets fouled, and he'll shoot 2.
And Ari, how about this? People around the country right now they're out, they're socializing, and they see the ticker, right? And the ticker goes by, and it's, 88-78. That is in no way a reflection of how close this game was and how deceiving that can be.
Fair point.
So, of course, the intelligentsia that follow the Mountain West and will look this game up.
And they can rewatch it.
Exactly.
On the ESPN Watch app. They can watch it over and over again.
That's right.
Go to school on this.
Exactly. They will be breaking this down with tremendous recognition of the X's and O's and the difference in this game and how close it really was.
Ball knocked out of bounds. It will remain Fresno State basketball. They have an 8-point lead.
You got guys hitting the deck here. Gotta love that.
Well, Paul Weir, I'll give him credit. His guys have played really hard defensively.
And what better measure of a coach than how hard guys play? And you know what I love? I love when there's like specific direction. Like if you say play hard, what does that really mean? What does it mean? But of course, they're tracking deflections. They're tracking one-on-one stops. Okay? He told us it's not about shooting percentage and scoring. You mentioned that earlier, Ari. It's about the effort. The transparency. This is what we're about, because what happens frequently is you ask a coach about his culture and then what they're tracking and what they're sharing with their players, because it's a great deal to distill the information to make it simple for players to play.
Let's take a look at the afternoon for Deshaun Taylor. It's been, the second half, it's been quite a show for Mr. Taylor. All 21 of his points have come in the second half.
It has been an absolute love fest as we see him kissing the basketball and then tremendous body control. You love that one, Ari, with the right in the finish and
somehow
the English.
Spinning off the glass.
Drawing the foul, absorbing contact.
The transfer from Missouri, Kansas City. He's got to be happier to be here than in Kansas City. Dead of winter. Sun was out today. Taylor is fouled. Chance to shoot 2 more in the double bonus.
And every possession is important from a coaching standpoint and the ability of for players to learn how to finish. So, of course, both we see Rodney Terry and Paul, we are exceptionally engaged, as you'd expect, because there could be a scenario down the road that you can draw upon here.
For sure.
And these things also don't happen, by happenstance. You mentioned Musselman and, the 2-for-1 scenario, and we know about the foul or defend. So there are all these scenarios that it's not as though people just show up and, well, let's try this baseline out of bounds play. No, there's the punctilious nature of the shoot around and the coaching and the teaching that we see at shoot around. And then the gratitude when you see the players incorporating and the ability to execute.
But then as soon as it happens the right way, then you're immediately like, okay, well, we can't rest on it, right?
Exactly.
And that's why coaches age so quickly.
It's exactly. It's all about the next play. You're absolutely right.
Next play, the next game. It's all about the process.
Yep.
Jackson, you can't do that even on the playground, but I like the thought. Tried to pass it to himself.
And Ari, I think a perfect example of your point is Fresno State now will be 3-3 in conference.
All right, here you go. So I'm just going to drop it down and then go get it again. They don't want to foul, no reason to shoot.
I love this by Taylor. I love Taylor not scoring here, Ari. That's a class move. Great sportsmanship.
Good basketball game this afternoon in Fresno. Final score, Fresno State 89, New Mexico 80. Fresno State 13-6, 3-3 in the Mountain West. For New Mexico, they are 8-11, 3-3 in the Mountain West. Final thought from you, Bill.
Deshaun Taylor show in the second half, 21 points, despite a plucky effort from the New Mexico Lobos.
Good stuff. On behalf of Bill Horrenda, I'm Ari Wolf. Saying so long from Fresno. Final score 89-80. Bulldogs win. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live on the ESPN app. And to watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Have a great night, everybody.